as I told you, doors are locked, seats are chained, nobody went anywhere. They're still here for the interview. I have to confess before we even get started, I was apparently saying Joe's name wrong for 15 years. I have never been able to say your last name. In my house, my wife and I refer to you as Jason Menudo. Right? Which is ridiculous because if there's any band that you are not affiliated with, it's Menudo.
But right, I was.
Right, exactly. It's not a hit me like a cannonball kind of vibe going on, right? Right. So I will confess, I'm horrible with names. I've known you. I was thinking about this the other day. I've known you at least 15 years.
I think
you were still in Donkey Punch.
It's about 12 or 13 years ago.
What was Donkey Punch?
We met.
And Donkey Punch was brand new.
Yeah. It was either right before or right after Joe joined us. Because
Yes.
the first year we were together, we actually had the original drummer I started with was Brian Musser, and then
Oh, okay.
he left.
I didn't know that.
We had another one came in for a few months, a couple people, and then Joe joined us. But that's when we were at 1792 a lot.
Right.
Back in that
The old
place.
rumors.
And that's where I met you, and you guys used to come down a lot, and like we had a break or something, we're like, hey guys, go on up there and just jam out.
That's how. So I was in a band called Almost Unknown. It was Chris Giles, Will Cochran, Greg Flynn, and me. And I had not played drums in a band or even touched my drum kit in 10 years when I joined that band.
Wow.
So I was bad. And we were playing like Breaking Benjamin and all these things that you weren't just like do 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 do. It's not how it works,
No.
right? And you guys did not care that and so everywhere they went, we'd be like, can we come open? Can we play the break? Because we needed to get into venues. And you guys let us do that over and over and over again. Bar Out Back, Rumors, that place in the hotel at exit 118, like Rudy's. Crossroads. Like all these places, which so that's and we try and give back and now let other bands do that with us. Same thing. But that was very, very cool. Now, you've been with Raging Sun how many years?
This October will be 5 years for me.
Man, it goes by quick.
It's really tough.
Was it there when you got there, or did you form?
Well, actually, William's the one that started the band.
Yeah,
Oh, so this
basically,
is your deal.
that's my deal. I told you after post-time night, I got my woohoo moment after I said I need to do something, go back to music. And so I started putting the band in early 2017, late 2016. At the time, I used to live in Tallahassee, and because I travel a lot for work, Tallahassee music scene sucks. I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of
It's
things.
not a lot.
So
no.
I used to drive from Orlando on Saturday morning, stay using my points for frequent travel at the hotels around here, hang with all these guys, see the bands, and then drive back on Sunday evening back home so I can go back work. So I ended up finally moving here. So I moved in mid 2017 around here. So I put the band together. Our first singer, I forget his name. I'm asking you, I'm bad with names. So
okay.
I don't remember. He was a guy from Brazil, but he moves back to Brazil, so he has to leave the band. After that, we have Andy.
He wasn't going to commute from Brazil.
No, he wasn't. He cannot.
No dedication.
No,
None.
yeah. So then
And Andy is Andy with Sound Theory.
Sound Theory. He
Okay.
sings. He rehearsed with us several times. But at the time was to the distance. He lives in Lake Nona. We were rehearsing at Hector Studios in Deltona, so it was like too far. So and then I just posted in Craigslist and several places about auditions, and these guys came out and nailed it down in October 2017. Jason has been
I did
with
not
us
realize.
together. But that's he's become my right hand on this project. I cannot do this without him. So it's,
Well, and again, I'm a big Jason fan to begin with, but you've got this band of veterans. Nobody is a newbie, and so Jason's been in a bunch of bands, been around forever. Like all of you can probably contribute in and be like, oh, we should this, we should that, because you've got a good team. You know what I mean? That's the same thing I'm fortunate with Mayhem. Like I have a solid team, and that's really 75% of the battle is just everybody rowing one boat.
Yep.
And kind of agreeing what it is, which is awesome. Tell me, how do you pick your songs? Because I watched you live. Again, the first time I came up to see you, the other two times you had so many people there that I was just like, awesome, thank you, and I just left, right? But, it's this huge width of music, right? Like it's this huge birth. It's not all X, Y, or Z. So how are you picking this set list out?
There's a few things that when I start putting this band together, there was one thing I want to do. I want to play music that nobody else was playing. We can play any song for X or Y artist, but why play the same things that everybody's playing? There's plenty of songs. And when people hit, I haven't heard that song in 20 years. Wow, never seen nobody play that song live. So that's the woo factor that we like to have. And basically, this is a democracy. We say, hey, we're like right now we're putting together new songs. So we each of us pick 2 songs that they want to do, and we say, okay, we can do that and put it together. As long as it made that criteria that it's something that it's not played by everybody. It's something
Understood.
refreshing. So that's.
And just give me, again, I want to let you do it. It's a really wide width. What's the heaviest thing you're singing?
Right now,
Yeah.
probably the heavy song we're doing is Square Hammer from Ghost.
Okay. And then give me the lightest one you're doing.
My Life from Billy Joel.
Okay, that's what
Or
I'm
like,
saying.
Or like Everybody Wants to Rule the World. from
Yeah, Tears for Fears.
Exactly. Like that's what. So again, I started following you in the Donkey Punch days, and I've seen you play for a while. And you were always killing in the name of like it was heavy, and you're really good at that.
Thank you.
Then I went to Post Time. You didn't do My Life, but you did Tears for Fears. And I was talking to my wife, and I'm listening to you guys, and I'm like, hold up. Like, because I wasn't prepared for you guys to do that. But it all sounds really good. Like, the lighter stuff sounds good. I didn't feel like you were a heavy band playing light stuff because you had to, and I didn't feel like you were a light band trying to figure out how to play rock. Like, it's a very wide set list, and you have players, and you can tell everyone who's in the band, but you probably don't remember the names. But you can tell
Yeah,
everybody
I
who's in the
remember
band.
the names at least for.
It's hard to get musicians, singers, otherwise, that can go from A to B, and neither one sounds fake.
Yeah.
I honestly, at the time Donkey Punch ended, I'd done about 20 years down here doing all the heavy stuff, Psycho Lizard,
Yep.
Products of Society, so I was used to doing Disturbed, The Rage, and everything. By the time I got to the end of Donkey Punch, my voice was actually starting to take a hit.
Well, sure.
And it was getting shredded, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If I kept doing it at that pace, that harsh, I wouldn't be able to do this now. So for me, it was kind of like I had to do something different. And after 20 years of doing it, I kind of felt like I wanted to do something different.
Sure.
Because I've been in this wheelhouse for so long, and there was so much other music I loved doing. I just didn't get the opportunity, so I wanted to change that up.
So tell me then in this list, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. What's your favorite song to play?
I don't know which one it is.
What's your
I-
favorite
see,
one?
And it's tough to pick one. But I mean,
Grab me one that nobody would expect that you really like.
Ooh.
Killing in the Name of. I'm kidding.
Honestly,
I'm kidding.
I'm
Right,
sick
I'm
of
kidding.
that song.
Right, I'm kidding.
Probably. Well, the one that would probably be expected as one of my favorites would be the Ghost song.
Sure.
'Cause that's probably the one a lot of people are surprised with. I'd have to say be a toss-up between Billy Joel and Tears for Fears. I mean, Billy Joel, I grew up in New York, so I mean,
Right, so-
that's
And it's Billy Joel.
that's what I grew up on, and I was always into 80s new wave. It's just a lot of
Which is
bands
so
that do
funny
it.
to hear that my life was 80s new wave. Well, even Tears for Fears, like, now you hear new wave and you're like, oh yeah, that's not new wave. You're right, but I agree with you completely. I never would have picked you guys out doing that. And more importantly, I wouldn't have picked your crowd watching you do that and liking it. But
Yeah.
they really did. Like, they danced to your heavy stuff and
Yeah.
they danced to your light stuff. It was really cool.
That's the thing. We go, for example, we'll do one song from The Cure. We do one song too, and everybody, like, if you see the videos, they were dancing like Tears for Fears and all this stuff. Then we were playing Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears, and they were dancing. The dance floor was packed, people dancing No More Tears. For me, that's the first one.
Right,
so-
I wouldn't have thought it. I kept waiting each time, not in a negative way, but I'm like, okay, well, this is going to clear the... No, that's okay. Okay, well, this is... Like, because they don't go together. I told my wife, I said they have the Sybil set list, right? The multiple personalities. They jump from this thing to this thing to this thing to this thing. But it's absolutely awesome. What's your favorite one?
For me to do,
Yeah.
I love the Tears for Fears one because the drumming is, people think that it's easy, but it's different.
It's like
the
a triple
upbeat and
shuffle
all the
in there.
thing, and then I love that one, and then I like the Ghost one. I love that song, but I love Epic. I thought you were gonna say Epic. That song, it's his
Faith
and
No
Jay
More?
Yes.
favorite.
Huge Faith No
So
More fan.
now that we're
of course.
but we have been lucky in terms of we went to a lot of lineups, and Jason and I went like 4 lineups changes
Which is
of
normal.
people, but we have been 3 years, almost 4 years with the same lineup, which is Jay Atkinson on keyboards.
Yeah.
Rob Foner on guitar. Jay used to play with the Accused.
Oh, I
with
know who he is.
Photobomb.
Sure.
Rob used to play with what's the band that Lou plays?
Rocks.
Rick Rocks.
Oh yeah.
So he used to play the
Mike,
guitar.
we're talking Mikey Starr.
Yes.
Yeah, so he used to
Wow.
play with them. And then we have Chris Davis, who is I think he has a degree in music, and he used to teach, and he played with the punk band
He was
that they
with the Killing
recorded.
Tradition. He was
Kill
actually.
Tradition.
Yeah.
He did 3 albums and a couple tours, but he's been like a studio musician for like over 20 years.
That's
He's
awesome.
worked on different stuff like Metal Blade Records and all that. So I mean,
I had no idea. That's very
he's
cool.
really.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
got
even know that
that.
till recently. I mean, he's really polished.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I like the most about us is that we each get to contribute. You know what art. Everybody gets to have a say because and to me that's how it should be because
Yep.
it's going to take all of us to make it work. So everybody should have their voice in it.
That's
And
one of the things that my motto when I first say I'm going back to music, but it's gonna be 2 things. Number one, we gotta play stuff that nobody is playing. Like, how do you call it? The
Right.
Florida Top 40.
Right, the Florida 40.
So Florida 40. So, and the second one, there's cannot be no drama. So we have been. This is the first band, and I've been
You know,
playing drums.
if you look up drama in the dictionary, there's a band next to it. Just like that's kind of how
See
that
also
works.
musicians.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and for the first time I've been playing in bands since I was 15 years old. This is the first band that we have been together for 3, 4 years, 5 years. We never have an argument. We never have a fight. We never have anybody. There's no drama. This is what makes these things easier. Everybody is like pro band. Everybody's trying to make things happen, and we keep it as a family. You know. There's no. I never had to say no. This is my way or the highway. This is my band.
Right.
Never, and that never happened. So it's
Right.
it's great. You know.
That's really funny you say that because our band is basically drama free also, but I have ended several conversations with because it's my fucking band. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just like I say, it's funny to hear you say.
I
that.
haven't been able to get to that point. I won't expect to be there, but it's
I don't have to go there, but it's like our running joke. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but that's awesome. And now you guys you rehearse weekly?
depending on
At
how
least
many
every
gigs
cou-
we
at least
have.
every couple of weeks what we have coming up.
Because you're definitely super tight, which I think comes. You know, we played Dexter's a couple of weeks ago on a fill-in, and John made the manager there made the comment. He's like, you know, so many bands have fallen off musically because they just didn't rehearse, and you guys you're solid. Like, you know, everybody's really together, which is more. You can be the best musicians in the world. You have to play together so that when you turn around and look at him, you know why.
Yeah.
And it's not like, why is he looking at me? Right? You'll know. You know
And
what I mean?
that's-
And so you can hear that when you guys play.
I think that's a good thing with us is that we've gotten to the point, especially for me, and it's like I've explained, I take my cues from everybody in the band.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it's gonna come from the drummer. At some point, it's gonna come from the guitar. At some point, from the keys. I'm so confident with these guys, and I feel free enough that I can literally run on almost autopilot. And I don't have to sit there and feel so intense. Like I have to, like if it's a solo, I don't have to sit there and
No, you seem
study the
relaxed.
whole thing, you know, or I'm gonna miss my cue. I know exactly where it is. I know exactly where they're gonna be, and it's great to be able to work in that because it does relieve a lot of that stress. And there's always that stress and pressure just even getting up on stage.
Of course.
You don't need to add to it
Of course.
unnecessarily.
And you look equally relaxed. I mean, I've watched you play with the band, and you're not looking around like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? Like, everything seems nice and fluid and normal, and
Yeah, we try to keep it that way. And one of the other things is that, you know, I'm a perfectionist with OCD. And we have some other people in the bands that I'm not gonna say are the same like me. So we get it right, and I lost, like, for example, I was a self-taught drummer.
okay.
Then because my grandparent and my uncles, they were musicians, they get me into music.
Okay.
So I started studying theory when I was in, like, I don't know, maybe my 20s, something like that. But I never use it because I always play rock. But I play in Latin bands, I'm playing in pop bands, I play in metal bands, I play in all this. And I think that's mixture make me like, and I know when something isn't right, and they know that because stop, something isn't right, and there was something forget to tune back the pedal
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that. And I don't know what is going on, but I have the feeling that something is, and 99.99% when it's something, and I have that feeling, and that's like the vibe, like everybody has, yeah, I think, yeah, so, and it's,
I totally get it. In our band, the two classically trained ones are Dave Mander on guitar and Carol. And Carol is just super talented. And she will come in and be like, by the way, in this song, the 15th measure, we're playing a C. It's not. And we'll all be like, okay.
That's Jay.
She's right. She is super talented.
love you, Jay.
She is super talented with that. And also she's like you, because she's that talented, she's very specific. And she'll be like, hey, they do this, and we'll be like, we don't care, we're not gonna do that. Like, because we're a dance band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things we're not gonna do because we have a bunch of people on the floor that aren't gonna dance to it if we do it. You know?
Right,
And you can see that she's like, wow, that's you guys suck. Because she's got all that theory behind her, which is we love Carol, which is but yes, I get it, because I don't have that level of musicality. And Ryan and Dana, I believe, are both self-taught, although they're excellent. But Carol and Mander can really grab something like that and be like, stop, something's wrong. So it's pretty cool.
I don't know what it is. I know something is wrong, and when they check, yeah, we were in the wrong key, or something happened, or somebody was the tune, and so it's always, and well, that's the way I am, but
Hey, there's nothing
it
wrong with that.
worked.
Tell me, and it can be from any of the bands, although I think it should be from Raging Sun. You know I'm going to ask you, give me one of your best, oh my God, I can't believe that happens.
Oh, Lord.
There's got to be, there's got to be.
Well, what he thinks, I send you a picture
Do
of
it.
one that I have.
You
You have
go
that
first
picture?
while he thinks. Yep. Oh, yeah, I saw it.
So basically, that was the same period that I was coming to see the bands, and I was at Post Time 2017 for the autism benefit.
We played that one.
So I used to hang out a lot with the guys from Sound Theory. I love Tom. Tom was one of the first persons that opened me doors around here, and Omar, the drummer at the time.
Oh, yeah.
He let me sing with them, and they were always so nice, and I love those guys. So I was hanging with Omar. They were playing at the benefit too. And he introduced me to Charlie Adams, the
Yep.
drummer for Yanni.
Yep.
So, and I was so, oh man, and he was so down to earth, so cool. And I say, I'm gonna take a picture. Let me take a picture with these guys. And I started explaining myself because I have like a burner phone. Because I was in transition from one job to another, so I get a burner phone until I get my
Sure.
company phone.
Sure.
So at least when I'm driving from Tallahassee here, if something happened, I have something I can call somebody.
Sure.
Or call AAA or something. So I started explaining myself, and Charlie started laughing. He just get in his pocket, and he got the same phone. I say, "Don't worry,
Oh, the
this
burner
is my
phone.
this is my daily phone." So we took a picture of the
That's
two
why the
guys.
phones were in.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
it was hilarious. It's same phone, same brand, everything. He said, "Don't worry, this is my daily one."
And you've got to have something for me.
Now, okay, for Raging Sun, probably one of the moments that stand out to me the most was about a year and a half ago. We were at Dale's, and it was one of the first times we were playing Tears for Fears. I played Dale's back in the day with Product, so I was used to, it's hard rock and crowd.
yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, before we do this, I'm like, it's going like a fart in a diving helmet. I'm waiting to hear the booze. And by the time we hit the first chorus, there's like a dozen people singing in the bar. And then people are coming in from outside and dancing as they're walking in the door. And then the whole dance floor just packs up. And you can
Wow.
hear people singing in the bar over. And I'm like, this was the one song I never expected would do that. But to me, it was like, okay, we're hitting on a nerve that no one's really hitting on.
I haven't heard
Because
another
of this
band do Tears for
reaction.
Fears, I don't think.
So it, to me, it was also like, we're going in the right direction. This is a sign, we're doing things right.
Sure.
Or we wouldn't get that reaction. So,
And what's your rule on a song? Like, we take a song, it gets 3 clubs, and if it doesn't go because you're doing a lot of experimental, not as popular on the circuit songs.
So far, we haven't had the only song that we sometimes. Another thing that we are being smarted is he's our rock star. So we're whatever he can sing. If he say I cannot sing it,
Then don't
we
even
take
mess
it
with
out.
it.
So
Yeah.
we don't even mess with it. Jason, can you do? Yeah. So we do all this stuff. So, but so far, I don't think we have to take any song of rotation. We have it in the back burner. We take them out because we're like, for example, Addicted to Love. And we
Right.
saw a lot of band playing, so we put it in the back burner. We haven't played in a while. but all the other songs we rotate them, and we're still getting really great acceptance. Like for example, this weekend when we play in Castleberries, people were like so on fire, and I say, okay, so let's keep the so we basically keep the set list. We basically change the set list like every 3 or 4 shows, so refresh it, get a new set list. We are putting some new songs together, like for example, Mighty Bostonians and stuff that were coming, really different stuff.
Yeah.
And so basically that's what we're doing. But so far, I don't think we took any song out or something like that.
I mean, there's a few where it got to the point either it's just been overdone, to the
Right,
bands are
understood.
doing it, or it's just for us it was something that we just felt was kind of boring. But you know, there's still some of these songs, like if people want to hear them, we saw them on the back burner, like Crazy Train. I want to be honest.
Right.
Every band plays Crazy Train.
Right.
Okay. I prefer to play No More Tears. 'Cause
Right.
it's something
But
a
if
little
people
different.
like it,
But if someone could say, hey, can play Crazy Train, okay, cool, we got that on the back burner. My thing as far as with me picking songs is first off if my voice fits. I'll try anything.
right.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And we'll even, tune it down a couple of steps if we have to see if it
Right,
will fit
which-
in that
sure.
mood. My other thing as far as when I'm picking songs is, the same thing William said, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. Because there's certain bands, you expect to hear, like, you expect
Right.
to hear an AC/DC song. You expect to hear a Bon Jovi song.
Right.
You expect to hear a Zeppelin song. Why do they have to be the same 3 or 4 songs that everyone is doing? The library is so vast,
Sure.
and there's so many to pick from that we all know of, but they're just not constantly put out there. And a lot of times, I like the idea, to take someone musical by the hand and say, "Hey, you take it over here. Haven't heard this in a while.
Right. But chances are, if you like this, you've
Bring it
heard
back
that.
to you, and see what you think now."
Which is it's that fine line,
Yes.
right? Because like for you guys, and by the way, totally stop me if I'm wrong. You're not necessarily under pressure to keep a dance floor packed. You are a rock band. You're a party rock band, but I don't think anybody like a club owner has a fit if they're just having a good time sitting at their tables, eating and drinking and clapping and having fun.
No, and honestly, I think part of that style kind of comes from me. And my thing is, I'm not a big dancer. Okay, my wife sometimes can get me out there if I've had a couple drinks. I'm not a big dancer.
Right.
A lot of guys aren't.
Right.
But they want to go see a good band. So you got to do something that's going to keep their interest into it if they're not going to be on the floor.
Agreed.
So you got to give them a shot. I mean, that's how I am. I mean, I'm a fan of bands.
Right.
I want to do something that's going to catch my interest. Play something I'm not used to hearing. If you grab my interest, I will stay and I will talk about you till the day is over.
Oh, sure.
But so that's kind of like how I am the same way. It's like, I'm a fan. What would I expect as a fan? What would I
Right.
want to see?
Yeah.
Right, right, and that's hard to gauge. We're more of a dance band. We're the Bruno Mars. If you can dance to it or you sing it, then we play it. Like that's kind of our thing. Which also means, to a large degree, we are playing the stuff you think we're gonna play. You're gonna hear Uptown Funk. You're gonna hear
Yeah, I
Jesse's
love it. I
Girl.
see you guys in Dexter's a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
you're gonna
I
you're
love
gonna hear it. And so for me, I quarterback. I have a talk back to the band. I can call out songs and whatever. If they walk off the floor, I'm like, oh, that's bad. But for the rock bands, you really don't have to care about that because they may not be on the floor for a song they love that you're playing because it's just a great rock song, and a lot of those guys don't want to dance. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
so how do you gauge if the song is a hit then? That's why I asked that in that really long-winded way. So if you're not going to gauge it by dance floor reaction, because it doesn't matter, it's hard to get a real read of the room from a stage from just sitting there. Are they sitting there because they don't like it? Like, how are you gauging what's
The
successful?
reaction of the people. We ended the song and maybe they want nobody dance, but they start clapping and really loud and all this stuff, and you get the vibe from the people. And most of the time, as Jason said, we have 6, 8 people, all girls dancing. The guy sitting in the corner with the drinks, and when the song is finished, oh, yeah,
then you're good.
So that's what
You
we
did have really, I will tell you, you did have really loud crowd reaction when I saw you. I did notice that. Like, you'd end a song, and there'd be clapping or, the whistles or the whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because a lot of times people like a song, and they're just like, okay, that was great, and that's the end of it. But, like, your followers really do seem to be, like, I remember watching them cheer. Did you do American Girl? You did something.
We did. You got lucky.
That's
Okay.
it.
You got lucky
You
from
got
Tom Petty.
lucky, and I'm like, oh, this sounds really good. you know, and I was kind of interested to see. And then you ended, and the whole room was like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I didn't expect that reaction from that song.
Yeah.
So you definitely have a very cool thing going on.
That's a great thing about some of those songs is that it's very unexpected. And a lot of people are just like, wow, that's not what I expected. And it's probably the biggest thing we get. The biggest compliment that I hear from a lot of people is, I don't know what you're going to play next.
Yeah.
I was
Which
not
is what you
expecting to
want.
hear that song, and it surprised me.
Which is what you want.
A guy
100%.
called me the other time and told me, "Hey, you are like the shuffle on my iPod. We don't know what's going
That's
on."
it. And hey, kudos to you because that's what you want. I'm gonna ask you one more thing because I try and keep these to a 30-minute window,
Yeah.
right? Just so that people, you know, can finish them. How many songs do you have? Like, I know you talked about you change the set list every, 2-3 weeks or 2-3 shows. How many are you rotating through?
Right now, if I was to run down our list of songs that we can go out and perform today,
Yeah,
probably put about between 55, 60.
which is a lot. Because how many are you doing in a set?
Well, it depends. I mean, we have a few songs we call marathon songs.
Right. So do we.
Say 7.5, 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
We probably do about 38 to 40 songs a show.
Okay, so you've got like a set and almost a third.
Exactly. So if we play 2 nights back to back, especially at the same place, we
You
can
can
we have
rotate
enough
it.
that we can rotate it.
I have new songs.
But it's still, that's still to me, it's not enough. It's like,
They need
after
that
a few
80.
months, you still have to bring in a few more because even after doing this for a while, people start to know them. It's the same
Right,
stuff
they
over
start-
and over. If you don't give them anything fresh, it starts to get.
But you do know a lot of times people know them, and that's why they come to see you. Like, we play our own versions. If you come see it, you're gonna cringe because you're a drummer. I'm just telling you. But we play a rocked up dance version of "Don't Stop Believing."
Nice.
It's still rock. It's not a it's a rock song. But people now, like before they come and see us, I'll get a message on Facebook and they're like, "I'm coming out. Can you play this one? This one? This one?" Yes, we'll play it. I have certain people who I know if they're coming, like these 6 have to make it on the
Yeah,
list or
we
whatever.
got those
So
too.
so it's like you don't want to be. You need to be unpredictable while being predictable enough that they come for the staples, right?
Exactly.
Like,
It's
Yeah.
even having the staples in. It's like, a lot of times, even just rearranging the order.
Yeah.
Will, to a lot of
Right,
people,
absolutely.
will keep them on their toes. It's like, do you hear this song? Say, okay, I'm used to hearing that. And then
you don't
after
do it.
like the third or fourth show, you put something completely different. Like, okay, well, that wasn't what I was expecting.
that's awesome.
Yeah, we got like, for example, the other day, one of our followers, she loves metal and heavy, but she likes the one that we do from Maneskin.
Main skin,
So,
Pagan.
begging.
Okay.
So she asked her, "You gotta do No More Tears, and you gotta do begging." It's like,
That's it. That's it. Well, I'm thrilled that you guys could make the time to do it.
Thanks for having
William's
us.
been asking me for like 6 months, and I'm like, I promise I'll do it. So I'm glad we got to do it. You guys are out at Leo's this weekend, so hopefully, if you don't mind taking the drive, it's not even that far. It's a
Great,
cool
great
venue.
place.
I hear nothing but like, oh my god, it's awesome.
It is amazing.
Go by and check it out. You're gonna have a great time. Either way, there's lots of great music around this weekend. Go out, have fun, check it out. We will see you guys next week.